beautiful, beautiful people here. Give yourselves a round of applause. Hello, everyone. So yeah, my name's Maurice Mcleod. I'm a counsellor from Wandsworth, but I'm talking as a working person here, as a parent, as someone that's really invested in this fight and all the other fights that are going on at the moment. So we often talk about what we're leaving for the next generation. It's important that we're the best ancestors that we can be, and that people in the future look back and know that we did everything in our power to hand to them a world worth living in. But if properly funded and maintained, our schools can play a huge role in working inequality out of our society. This can't happen though if our schools are underfunded, if teachers are struggling to get by, and if children who need extra help are ignored. In 2008, spending on pupils in private schools was about £3,000 more than in the state schools. A decade later, it's £6,500 more. This is a huge gap, and especially when you consider all the inbuilt advantages that many of the people in the private schools had to start off with. I'm glad Labour says it will remove the laughable charitable status for private schools. Sorry, I'm trying to do a two-handed thing here. Thank you. I'm glad that Labour will remove the laughable charitable status for private schools, but that's not enough. Continual cuts to education funding and the relentless drift to academisation of schools have left our system on its knees. Staff have seen a 20% pay cut in wages in real terms over the last decade, and this has resulted in a large turnover of teachers, as you all know, and now we see some teachers having to use food banks to supplement their meagre wages. Of course, teachers don't live in a vacuum, so they're impacted by all the same problems that hit in everybody else. For example, in the 1970s, more than half of teachers, starting teachers, lived in council-provided housing. That's not the case now. After decades of the Tories selling everything off, that simply isn't the case, and teachers are bearing that brunt as well as their cutting in pay. In Wandsworth, where last year we took the council back from the Tories after 44 years. Yeah, that's how I felt. We're doing everything we can to support those who are struggling. We've brought in a specific cost of living fund. We've introduced warm spaces. We've got free swimming and gym for kids on free school meals. All of that's great, but we know that's not nearly enough. Our people are struggling, and it's time they had a pay rise. That's why strike action like this by the NEU is so important. Thank you. We're told that the country can't afford to pay increased wages for key workers. We know it cannot afford not to. Yeah. It's easy to celebrate how progressive and inclusive and self-assured many of our young people are. But this doesn't happen by accident. Our young people are existing in a vastly changing world, and there's a whole host of Andrew Tate type figures out there just waiting to feast on their frustration and their hopelessness. Yeah. And to my party, we need an education system that is well funded and teachers who are well paid to counter this. And my party, I remind comrades that we are the Labour Party. We were set up to be the voice of working people in Parliament, but that means being the voice of working people on the streets, in the demos, in the workplaces. Yeah. It also means resisting the ever-creeping academisation of our schools, which turn them into competing businesses, rather than providers of education for all. It also means they end up excluding loads of black and brown kids so that they can get get up the league tables. So for all those here today fighting for a fair education system, I want to say thank you. Thank you for all you do to help our young people be the best they can be. Thank you for the work you do above and beyond your job description to support children and families. And thank you for standing on the front line of the battle for our future. Absolute solidarity with the NEU.